All right, House Republicans scrapping their plan to gut the ethics watchdog unit less than 2 hours after being called out by President-elect on Twitter. Republican Congressman Gohmert supported the initial proposal to reform. He joins us right now to react. Congressman, momentum went the other direction. Do you think for the right reason?
Yeah, I think definitely for the right reason, because the rollout was done all wrong. Anybody like President Trump that has a feeling of fairness would immediately say you don't want to dilute the watchdog. The problem is we didn't educate people on how grossly unfair the OCE is. They started with a small office. They have no one to whom they're accountable.
Right.
We should have had the information out there so people could understand. They have no one to whom they're accountable, and it's what was done to take out Sarah Palin. You can blast somebody with enough anonymous ethics complaints and you overwhelm them. They'll spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we have people who had that happen. But we didn't educate the public. That has to be done before we take that kind of action, and I think that's what you're going to see happen.
And when you guys
do that,
and when you men and women do it down the line, I sense, color me naive, that Democrats probably want to reform it too. But I want to get, because I'm sure they could be targeted anonymously, and they have to lawyer up, and next thing you know, they're losing elections because people think they're corrupt and they might be totally innocent.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, it was time for all the leadership to speak yesterday, and the minority leader of the minority leader of the Senate, Chuck Schumer, taking over for Harry Reid, ripped into Donald Trump for his use of Twitter. Listen.
Making America great again requires more than 140 characters per issue. With all due respect, America cannot afford a Twitter presidency.
Yeah.
Nice soundbite, but that's really, it's not an accurate depiction of what's happening with Twitter, is it?
Well, of course, Chuck Schumer is a smart man. We got to give him that. He is. And like a broken clock, he's right a couple of times a day. But look at the other things he's been saying. Of course, he wants Trump to get off Twitter because he wants the public to hear nothing but the New York Times. And Trump's not going to let that happen. He is going to get the final word and straighten them out when they lie about him. But Schumer also told us if we didn't get on board with Obamacare, our party would be gone because it was going to be so great. Wrong on that. We needed to get on board with cap and trade because the country was going to be all behind it. And as John Dingler said, that was not only a tax, it was a great big tax that hurt poor people in America. And he said we needed to get behind President Obama or our party was over. He said we needed to embrace amnesty or our party was over. So I'm grateful for his great help. But
he's Brian, not Nostradamus.
He represents the fringe party, the fringe, and you guys have talked about it. You look at the areas Hillary won, it's the fringes all the way around America.
But perhaps it's Senator Schumer, somebody who wants to get things done and might be more amenable to working with a guy he's known for 20 years in Donald Trump than Harry Reid was. Are you optimistic?
Yes, I'm very optimistic because I think that Trump is not going to let the New York Times have the last word, not going to let Chuck Schumer have the last word. And so we're going to actually be competitive in trying to fix what's wrong with America.
And Congress, we're going to take a break because Ainsley has more gifts to Heather. So we got to go to break. Thanks so much for joining us.
It's great to be with you always, Brian. Thank you.
All right, straight ahead. Democrat to celebrate